Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Theodore Campbell, and I'm one half of Unadulterated You, and this is my partner.
I'm Bianca. Good to see you guys again.
And again, we got another topic for you guys, and this is not super specific, but it's funny how we go through certain situations, and I think most of us who go through life, we go through a lot of situations where this thing happens a lot, whether it be at your job, whether it be in relationships. It even can happen at church because, for you guys that follow us, we talk a lot about stuff that happened in church and religion. But, it's like a lot of times there's a lot of situations where it seems unfair, where a person could put certain expectations on an individual, but they're not willing to put that same expectations or that same level on themselves.
So can you elaborate on that when it comes to?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Let's use the church because the church is so easy to use this example. How many times do you go to church and they always paint a narrative where you're supposed to live a certain way, you're supposed to follow the Bible, you're supposed to do this right, you're supposed to do that right. And they put all these parameters on your life so that you can live right. But when they make a mistake, they don't use that same, judgment on themselves.
Yeah, not all of them do. And well, I'll say that.
Right.
A lot of times they don't. So it's that's where it gets weird to me because it's like where somebody else can fall, but you can't. Like you're untouchable. So do you think that that's kind of relevant to the Kevin Samuels situation?
Exactly. And that's what Kevin Samuel, for you people don't know who he is, you need to check him out on YouTube because he has a pretty popular channel where he talks about situations, and most of his videos is based off of relationships where he's talking about interaction between men and women, but he capitalizes on the point where he try to exposes how a lot of people want to blame men or women in different situations, and they have unexpected, your expectation for a different individual is exactly.
So I can see his end of things, but on another note, I feel like his expectations are unreasonable.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
I think it is reasonable.
Everything he's saying is reasonable.
I do.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
Well, think about it, because if you watch a Kevin Samuel, he's saying, well, from what I've seen with him, like he'll tell a female and she's calling and he'll ask her what she wants in a man, and she'll say all these lists of qualifications, and then he'll ask her, what do you bring to the table? And 9 chances out of 10, she might have some good qualities or some things to bring to the table, but it's not like her list would say that she's looking for a perfect 10 man, but if you look at her situation, she's not a perfect 10 woman. So how are you not a perfect 10 woman looking for a perfect 10 man?
When you say that, I'm thinking do you feel like it should be the equal thing of somebody you bringing the same things to the table?
I just think that us, and I'm gonna say us because I'm bringing me into it too. Like you have to be more realistic. Like if we're gonna use Kevin Samuels as an example, we have to get into the nitty gritty, because like some of the girls go on there and say, I want a guy who's in shape. He needs to have a 6-pack and he needs to have 6 figures or better and all that. But these same women that say they want this, their money ain't nowhere near 6 figures. And then when you look at their body, they don't have a perfect body, but yet you want a guy with a 6-pack and all this. It don't add up.
Well, I think those are physical and monetary values that, can vary, because all men don't necessarily want the woman to bring 6 figures to the table, or they don't necessarily want her to be as fit as he claims they do. So I do feel like he can't speak for every man, and neither can you. But and I don't think you try to. But if you feel like it's valid, then it should be across the board that this is factual, and that doesn't speak to all men, and that doesn't speak to all women. And the way that I can prove it is that, have you dated women with children?
Yes.
Because he says that's pretty much a no-go if you listen to him. He's saying that men, high value men, don't really want to date women with children. So you said that he was valid. He had some validity to everything he's saying. Is that how you feel as well?
Keyword is some. it's not that
He didn't
everything
say
he said.
something. Oh no, we didn't say something. I just asked you, did you think everything he said?
No, absolutely not. There is nobody. I don't care if you listen to Kevin Samuels. I don't care if you listen to TD Jakes. I don't care if you listen to Creflo Dollar. I don't care if you listen to Ron Carpenter. I don't care if you listen to the president. There is no flesh and blood human that has all the answers for everything. At the end of the
Yeah,
day.
and that their perspective is all the way across the board the correct perspective because it's just individual. In fact,
Right.
there is just one perspective there, and it's really not aiding to the collective of everybody. You know, like I said, he can't really speak for all men saying that men don't want to date women with children,
Right.
or that woman with children don't have a chance. And it doesn't, you know, what he says it doesn't affect me in any kind of way. And
Right.
that's why I want to touch on too, where Umar Johnson was saying that he basically is diminishing Black women,
Mhm.
and that Black women need to be accepted so much that they go and lend support to someone who's basically tearing them down on every end. And
Right.
so I think, like you said, sometimes we got to have enough self-care for our mental, our emotions, and things of that nature that, you know, his points may be valid, but if
Right.
you're in a hurt place and then you go in there as a woman listening to him, are you going to come out more wounded? Probably so. Probably so. So there is another way to kind of get your message across without tearing someone down and playing a little slap effect and all that stuff. It's entertaining, no doubt. But at the end of the day, I think it hurts more than it helps.
Right. But at the same time, I'm glad you said that because you said it hurts more than it helps. But that's actually the same situation that's in the church because these church folks, they'll preach the Bible, but they'll always go to the scripture that will pinpoint where you fall short, but they'll never tell you where they fall short.
Yeah, and even if it's not the pastor speaking, you know, because
Right.
a lot of times it's the climate of the church altogether.
Right.
That you may have women in the church, if a young woman comes in and she's judged for what she's wearing and how she speaks or how she walks or how she operates when she's just coming in on day one. And so with
Right.
that said, you know what I'm saying? It does hurt more than it helps when this young lady is getting stared down,
Right.
being shunned, talked about, even approached. How do you feel like
Right.
that's helping somebody?
It's
So
not.
that's in the church, and I think they're a little bit more, you know, less nasty. You know what I'm saying? But they nasty nonetheless, because I've experienced it firsthand. And so with that said, imagine, you know what I'm saying, like I said, in any environment being cut down or talked about, there's a way to critique an individual with love, I believe. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, I mean, religion and the church could be the biggest hypocrite sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they don't have to say anything. They just don't involve it.
Right, exactly. And I've witnessed this for myself. Like I've been in situations where people that don't go to church, they treat me with more respect and more love than people who I've been going to this church for months. They know me, they see me every month. But when I see them in the street, I'm like, why are you grilling me like that? What, you want to pop off? Like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all probably think I'm being funny, but this is the truth. Like, what's good? Yo, you want to pop off or something? Because you grilling me like that. Are you really, representing Christ like that? Or are you, like, what's good?
People have said some sideways stuff to me, and I promise you it came from people that you would think were mature in the church.
Right.
And it didn't hurt me because I was like, you know, I'm a person, I think that I just don't care.
Right.
But some people do care. So it didn't hurt me. It was just like, it threw me off. Like, did she just say that? Like, did she for real say that? Like, you kidding me?
Right.
I ain't gonna say this stuff because, you know, I ain't trying to put nobody out on Front Street or nothing, but you would be surprised.
I don't see some people that was on the pulpit helping the pastor, giving him they was the bishop aide, and then when I seen them on the street, it was some other stuff. Like, word? It's like that?
Yeah.
Right, bro.
And you really didn't have to see them on the street. They could have been in the bathroom at the church. They could have been.
Yo, okay. I'm not trying to cut you off, but you made a good point. Go ahead.
No,
I had a situation like that where I ran.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And trust me, y'all people that know me in real life, I'm not a gangster, but yo, that dude gave me this look. I wanted to put his face in that toilet, yo. Like, yo, word? It's like that? All right, fam.
Yeah, like why though? But why?
Okay, for what? Like what?
You know what? And that's what, you know what? The Bible tells us that we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. It's more than it. It's the spirit behind these people that is running rampant, that is prevalent in the church. And so I think that, while we do talk about the church, I want to just bring attention to that. We talked about this, about how we're calling light to the system
Right.
and, what religion produces within the church. And I asked you, like, once we tear or dismantle that, how do you rebuild from that?
Right.
I asked you that. And I don't really necessarily have the answers about how to rebuild from that, but to have love, consideration, empathy, and respect for one another. You ain't got no respect and empathy because you can't put yourself in that person's shoes when you were there. You forgot. Did you forget? Or, hey, enough consideration that maybe this so and so has gone before you and been successful, but you shouldn't be hating them for it.
Right.
You should be trusting in God enough to know that, hey, just like so and so was blessed, I can be blessed too. All these little spirits of jealousy and hate and envy and all this, it's unnecessary. And I feel like that's where you start to build, is to get rid of those spirits, to get rid of, all the hatefulness, and just begin to really love like God asks us to love one another, like we love ourselves. Yeah, I never really thought about how to rebuild it, but the only way to do it is with love.
I don't know how to rebuild it, but I know that it's not right. I know that for a fact. I don't need to be a bishop. I don't need to be a pastor. I don't need to be an elder. It's just common sense. Like, some of this stuff these people is doing, like, it don't make no sense.
It's a no. But and then I think the bigger part is where people know this exists and then they co-sign and they're letting it happen time after time. So again, this ain't to pick on no specific person or church, but this is to
Right.
call light to it. And you know how they always say, if a hit dog
Right.
hollers.
Yeah,
So,
right.
you know what I'm saying? You might be hurt about it. I feel that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people told me some stuff that really wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it was true. So I understand you heard about it and you may get tired of us talking about it. However, I feel like there's some constructive criticism where
Right.
we can learn from these situations and call it, like, cut this mess out. This is some petty, immature crap.
Exactly. It's not even just the church, but we just mentioned the church because that's what we dealt with in the
Yeah, I
past.
don't even know how we got back to that subject, but you know what I'm saying? Either way,
Because it's strong as hell. Like, people do this in the church.
yeah.
Like, they the first one to tell you that you're not supposed to judge and you're not supposed to do this, but they be the first one. Like, even Daryl. Like, Daryl is doing what he's doing, with the Larry Reed situation. And not to say that he's right, but the people that be in his comments and stuff, these is church people that's saying that, oh, you need to go to hell and you did, like, you a church person talking like this? Like, what are you saying? Like,
But how
what?
can you call somebody who comes back and says like, oh, Larry Reed need to go to hell, or he's a demon and he's all this stuff? Man, you've been out here spreading this discord the whole time. Why do you feel like what you put out is not going to come back on you?
Nobody need to be going to hell. Look, let me.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you got Larry Reed, you got Darren Moore, you got Mad Church Disease, Marcellus, you got the 18, you got Conscious TV, you got Earl Carter. At the end of the day, we should all be trying to figure out how we can get this all right. Now, of course, at the end of the day, negative stuff happens.
Mhm.
But even with the videos we post, people might think, oh, you're against Larry Reed. No, I'm not against Larry Reed.
We're
At the
not
end of the
against
day-
anybody. I think you can tell the spirit of us because we ain't out here trying to call out everything and everybody and dogging them out and calling names. We ain't doing all that extra stuff. Like, we just want to bring attention to what's real. Like, this is some crap, man.
Like, Larry Reed, he's a person. I don't want to see nobody's soul go wrong. So it's like, I'm not going to say, again, we say allegedly, we're not saying the accusers are right or wrong, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to people's soul. I don't want to see Daryl go to hell. I don't want to see Marcellus go to hell. I don't want to see Larry Reed go to hell. We all on the same boat. We all
Or
on the same
nobody
trip.
else in the church.
Exactly. We all on the same journey.
And yeah, and who are we to say, honestly and truly, I recognize where people are coming from when they say that stuff, but who are we to say where anybody's going? I understand
Right.
what your positioning is and why you would say it. I got you. Like,
Right.
I feel you on that. And you know what I'm saying? Some actions are just unjustified. However, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing we can say.
Exactly.
We can't, we don't hold that position.
Right.
And so that's the thing about with judgment and stuff like that, or even forgiving somebody. Sometimes we take a position of, oh, we need to forgive somebody, but the truth is, some offenses should have never been offenses to you in the first place. Because if you look at yourself, why do you need to forgive anybody for something you do yourself?
Right.
You mean
right.
forgive is to excuse them for
Right.
their actions. or whatever, their fault.
Right.
So if you are prone to the same thoughts or actions, why do you need to have forgiveness for them?
Right.
Yeah, it's sometimes from a place of judgment when you say you need to forgive someone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if we all know that human factor, then it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have a mutual understanding that this is something that happens as humans. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't need to forgive
Right.
the
Right.
person.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, it's been a long night. Okay.
A long night. We talk about a long week. Today is we filming this on a Friday. We've been working all week. So if Bianca looked tired, I look tired, it's the truth. But we just trying to tell you how we feel about
Yeah.
what's going on out here. And I mean, it's
It-
tough.
yeah, we want to stay up with you guys and um, you know, I think lend our perspective, but to get you guys to talking about it too, because it's not about one person. This is about
Exactly.
all of us. And really
Right.
we are a community of people. And the sooner we recognize that and we can better understand and support each other, then the further we will go, is what I think.
Exactly. We like to talk about the system, what's going on. Because if you can take out the names that's involved with the system, if you look at what's going on in a lot of these churches, a lot of the stuff is going on in all the churches. It's just a different name. It's a system. It's a spirit. Now, each church might have a name or a denomination, but at the end of the day, it's the same system. It's the same spirit.
Yeah, and those spirits create the systems. And
Exactly.
that's what the churches are governed by.
Right.
And so
Right.
people who attend church tend to be caught up and governed by
The names.
these systems and the names are there. However,
Right.
we need to get to the core, the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? To dismantle the issues. And that's just what I
Right.
think. Now it
Right.
has to be a collective effort because everybody doesn't desire to eliminate the mess. People
Right.
thrive off of that. You know what I'm saying? But I do say this, and in closing, is that if you are in a church or organization that you see that people love to talk crap, they want to focus on the problems all the time. They ain't trying to build. They all constantly have this tear down spirit, whether it's discord or whether it's hate or jealousy or whatever. Don't you need to pull away? You know what I'm saying? You should consider that greatly. And I'm not saying to separate from the church
Right.
because actually we are the church. But
Facts.
some things are not conducive to a growing spiritual environment. So yeah,
Facts.
something for you guys to consider. And until next time, we'll come back with you guys another time. We're totally exhausted, wiped out. We done. Sick of working this. We are 2-3. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We're a little slacking on the Facebook, but we'll be back around. And until then, you have something to say?
Cheers. Enjoy your Friday night.
Yep. Talk later.